Welcome back. You are tuned in to IBL, inspired by Onika, speaking on life and inspiring people. Hey everybody, and welcome back. This is episode 60, and this is the fourth edition of Bonus Bulletins, and the title for today is Posting Up and Henry's. So, Posting Up is just about the United States Postal Service. They are going to be increasing the fees again, and starting July 12th, there will be a $50 fine for anyone that's mislabeling packages and the packages that contain hazardous materials. So there are a lot of things that we may not think of that are considered hazardous materials. And so if you are sending a package and you mislabel it and you don't say that it includes hazardous materials, there will be a $50 fine for that. And then anyone that's shipping Priority Mail or Priority Mail Express, there's going to be a $7.50 hazmat handling fee for that. And if you want to know what those hazardous materials are before you head to the post office to send a package, you can go to their official website at United States Postal Service, and they have a listing of all the things that are considered hazardous materials. And some of those things, just a few, are like if you're shipping, say, perfume or cologne, hand sanitizers, and anything that has a lithium battery. So any electronics that might have a lithium battery, those are things that are going to be considered hazardous materials. And then also with that fee and that fine, also there's going to be a hike in the price for stamps, postcards, and international letters as well. So that's going to be roughly like a 5% increase. And all of this is going to go into effect as of July 12th. So we know that the Postal Service, they've had a long-running history of, they're running out of money. So this is just another attempt to keep them from going bankrupt. And who knows what's going to happen after that. But just be on the lookout for that as of July 12th. So then we're going to talk about alternate vacations. So some people, they vacation once a year, twice a year, and, they plan it out in advance. And I'm sure you've noticed that things are going up. The price of everything is going higher and higher. So some people may say, well, this year I'm going to skip my vacation. Well, you may not have to do that because there are other ways where you can still go away, have a great time, and you can still get that rest and relaxation. So what you can do is, instead of going to places that are popular and they're very touristy, those places are going to be more expensive. They're going to be crowded. And so you can do a search for places that may have all those amenities that you're looking for when you go away on your vacation, and just go to a place that's not so crowded and popular, because you're going to save money for one, and you can still have a memorable vacation and still enjoy yourself. You can still get away. You don't have to skip your vacation. So you can go to a place that's less crowded, less expensive. So there you go. You can get to have fun and you can get to save some money. So that's one thing you might want to look into, is just do a search for a place that, let's say some people when they vacation, they like to do outdoor things as far as like hiking or climbing. Some people want to go to the beach. Some people want to go to visit historical sites or just visit certain places that they just want to go because they're interested in it. So just do a search for places that have, if not all, at least most of the things that you want to do, and you'd be surprised at the different locations where you can go and you can find these things to do. So don't skip your vacation altogether. You can find some places that will offer most, if not all, of the amenities that you want. So check that out, okay? And then we're going to move over to Henry's. So Henry is not, I don't mean Henry, your friend or your family member, your coworker. So Henry, that's an acronym for high earner, not rich yet. Okay. So this term came about in 2003, and I've just recently found out about it because I'm not in this category. So this is probably why I have not heard of it. But anyway, so a high earner, not rich yet, is someone who makes six figures, anywhere between 250,000 up to half a million. Now, the Henrys, they are people who are basically they earn these high dollars, but they're breaking even. It's almost like they're living check to check. So even though they have this money at their disposal, they're basically spending it as quickly as it's coming in, and they don't have anything put aside. And they may be people that have high housing costs, or maybe they have student loans. They just their lifestyle is just very expensive. So therefore, even though they have this money, they don't have anything set aside. They're not saving for retirement and things like that. So, and it's just a lifestyle as well. And also people that earn this amount of money, um, it's a lifestyle thing and they pay more in taxes as well. So some things that they can do, and not everyone who earns this kind of money fits this category. So it's not everyone, but it's about maybe half, 51% that earn this kind of money fall into this category. But there are things that you can do if this sounds like you. There are things you can do. So, for one thing is you can decrease your housing costs by downsizing. If you're in, say, a 5-bedroom house, downsize to maybe a 3-bedroom or a 2-bedroom house. That'll save you some money. Also, as far as the taxes go, so let's say, for example, excuse me, let's say, for example, that you earn, say, 300,000 a year. So one thing you can do to reduce your tax, the amount you're going to be taxed, is invest your money into an IRA or a 401k if your employer offers that. And let's say, for example, you put in, say, 20,000 a year into either of these IRA or 401k. So you're putting 20,000 in, and each year this changes, the terms and everything and the amounts change. So this is just an example. So you put 20,000 in. So when you go to file your taxes, instead of you being taxed on the $300,000 a year, you're only going to be taxed on the 280,000. So if you have your money in an IRA or 401k, you can reduce your tax liability. That's one way that you can do it. Now, and the good thing about that is that you're killing two birds with one stone, because you are reducing the amount of taxes you're going to pay, and also you have that money set aside for the future for retirement. So that's just one thing to think about. And also another thing you can do is do a trial, do an experiment, take a week, maybe 2 weeks, write down everything that you spend your money on every day. Go back and look at that, look it over, and see what are the things you can completely eliminate or at least cut back on. And, this takes some time. It's going to take some practice. It's going to take some work, but it can definitely be done. And so that's some of the things that a person that's at Henry that they can do. Just start investing, maybe downsize. You can reduce your housing costs. Also, as far as your tax liability, invest IRA, 401k, and that way you won't be taxed on the high amount of money that you're making per year. And so there's just a lot of things that go into that, because I know when you hear of someone that makes six figures, you figure, oh, they don't have any money problems. They're all set, they're living stress free, but it's not always the case. There are lots of people who, if they decided they wanted to stop working next week, it wouldn't be possible, even though they make this amount of money. And then also, there are people, say for example, if you are someone who earns $300,000 a year and you live in a state where it's very expensive, you might live on the West Coast in California, you might live in New York, Jersey. In those places, you're going to spend a lot for a little bit of square footage and little bit of amenities. So if you have two people and the one that makes the 300,000 lives in those high cost places, then you have someone that lives in the state where you're not paying as much for housing. You get more square footage, you get more amenities, you get more for your money. So you see the difference there. So it's just all about a lifestyle choice. If that's where you want to live in these places, then, there's nothing wrong with it. But there are ways that you can reduce, and you can have some more money in your pocket, and you can increase and build your net worth over time. So, but just think about that though. It's just a lot of different factors that go into that. But yeah, Henry's, there are ways that they can change that scenario or change that situation. So I want to thank you all again. That ends this episode. This is episode 60, and this is Bonus Bulletins, the 4th edition. And this is Posting Up and Henry's. So don't forget, July 12th, United States Postal Service will be going up on fees. Also, alternate vacations, do a search. Look for those amenities and those things you want to do, and you can find a place to go. You don't have to skip your vacation. And then also, we're talking about Henry's, and so thank you again for listening in, and you can hear this and all episodes on the Podbean app, on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, and Apple. And again, I want to thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the IBO podcast. You can hear this and all episodes on the Podbean app, YouTube, and Spotify. Until next time, stay well and be blessed.